In today's video, I'm going to talk about another album celebrating an anniversary. That is Deep Purple's House of the Blue Light, released on January 12th, 1987, celebrating 35 years. This is their 12th studio album and the second with the reformed Mark II lineup. So the story begins in 1984. 8 years after the band breaks up, they decide to have a reunion. This was a classic lineup of those classic albums like Machine Head and In Rock. And the lineup was Ian Gillan, Ritchie Blackmore, Roger Glover, John Lord, and Ian Pace. In 1984, they released the album Perfect Strangers. Now, this is one of my favorite albums by Deep Purple, along with the other two that I just mentioned. After that, they went on a tour, and that tour was very successful. And then after that, they wanted to release a follow-up to Perfect Strangers. Now, that's the album that we're talking about today, called House of the Blue Light. Now the question is it a worthy follow-up to Perfect Stranger? So let's talk about that now. So the album kind of went through a difficult recording process. They did have some strained relationships at that time. It's an album that the band did not like very much, but they felt they were not giving it their best. The album has 10 songs, so let me go through them now. So the first song is called Bad Attitude, and this one has a slow building intro with the keyboards. It develops into a mid-paced rocker. It has a very 80s arena rock sound with some elements of glam metal, but they do keep that Deep Purple sound. I think the guitar solo on this song sounds very good. It starts with a melodic solo going into one of that's more energetic, and lots of guitar acrobatics are added in. Next is The Unwritten Law, and this is more reminiscent of their earlier 70s music. It's a really good song. It mixes that classic sound with some more modern or 80s sound. I like the main riff. Kind of sounds like being played in violins a little bit. The chorus is catchy and memorable. There's a cool extended drum solo towards the end of the song, and I enjoyed this one very much. Next is Call the Wild. This is just straightforward 80s arena rock. It has a steady drum beat, the signature keyboards, and the power chords. The song has a very radio-friendly sound, and this was released as a single. Didn't really chart very high. I think it reached number 92 on the UK charts. Next is Mad Dog. This one has a pretty cool, funky groove to it. The song moves at a steady pace, also has a very, 80s arena rock sound. Keyboards are in the forefront, and I like the sound of the keyboard interlude in the middle of the song. Kind of very reminiscent of their earlier work. Next is Black and White. That's a blues song. Kind of starts with a harmonica intro, goes right into a bluesy rock and roll song. This one kind of sounds like a mix of classic Deep Purple and maybe a band like Aerosmith or Cinderella. I think they're trying to capture that blues rock sound that was kind of popular at that time. But at the same time, they're kind of keeping that arena rock in their classic sound. So the bass guitar sounds very good in the song. This one was a little different, but I thought it was pretty good. Next is Hard Lovin' Woman. So this one has a classic Deep Purple sound. Really like the guitar riff on this song. It's filled with energy. There's lots of melody. Especially the guitar solo, I really like that. And the instruments sound very good on this song. Now, the next song is called The Spanish Archer. It's a kind of cool change of pace from the previous song. Kind of has an old school psychedelic rock feel, a little slower, and the keyboards are in the forefront. They capture the spirit of the 70s rock, while they do mix it with an 80s arena rock feel. Ian Gillan does let out some of his classic screams towards the end of the song as well, so that it's a song that kind of feels very familiar. The next song is called Strange Ways. It's very cool. It has a start-stop opening riff and a Middle Eastern sound, kind of a danceable beat as well. Ritchie Blackmore has some guitar fills. He kind of sprinkles them throughout the song. I like the interlude where they have those Middle Eastern keyboards and mixed with that classic rock rhythms, and they add in some futuristic keyboards at some point in the song, and it's probably one of my favorite songs on the album. I think it's a really good one. Next is called Mitzi Dupree. It's a song that's more a slow piano-based blues song, a little reminiscent of the early 70s period. Does have some smooth piano playing, and the keyboard sounds very good. I do like how they slowed it down on this one, gives the listener a break from that arena rock, and does add some variety on the album. The last song I'm going to talk about is Dead or Alive. And pretty cool. It has one of those signature Ritchie Blackmore riffs, fast beat. This is a very high energy song. It's a rocker, got those pounding drum beat, that classic organ sound. And the song is catchy, it's memorable, has a really cool chorus. And the song also has like an extended keyboard solo, kind of like what you would expect from a Deep Purple song. So, in conclusion, now, this was the follow-up to their comeback album, Perfect Strangers, and it probably doesn't reach the heights of that album. I think it is a worthy successor. I think the sound of the album has very like 80s arena rock quality, but at the same time, I don't really think they strayed from their signature sound too much. Kind of seems like the band like didn't really like the album. The album might have got like mixed reviews. But I thought it was decent. I think out of like all of their albums, they have a very long career. I thought it was a pretty good album, so I definitely recommend that you revisit it and give it another listen. So that is all. I'm keeping this video fairly short. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the album. Next, I will be doing the top 10 albums of 1976. And a lot of these I actually reviewed on my channel last year because it was an anniversary year. So please remember, like, comment, subscribe. I'll stick some other videos right there, and I'll see you all in the next one.